did a leather-bound journal with Italian parchment paper from Venice come to be in the personal possession of a West African man in the 1700s? Moreover, how did the man manage to keep up with this interesting item as a slave in the antebellum South? These questions are much more difficult to answer than the purpose of the writings contained in this extraordinarily fascinating journal, commonly referred to as the Bilali document. When African American Muslims peer into the history of the Americas, they can see glimpses of themselves. African Muslims were among those enslaved in the antebellum South. Thomas Spalding was known to have Muslims working on his Sapelo Island plantation. Bilali Muhammad was one of them. He's the man who wrote the manuscript known as the Bilali document. Like many others, Bilali attended Islamic schools in West Africa before his enslavement. This is evident from the Bilali document. Early on, many mistook the Bilali document for a diary. However, scholarly research describes it as an Islamic treatise written in Bilali's own hand. The document contains information related to Islam, as well as Muslim rituals inscribed in a mixture of Arabic and West African dialects. At Sapelo Island, Bilali experienced some advantages on the Thomas Spalding plantation. Conditions across the South were horrendous for slaves. However, Spalding provided certain freedoms absent elsewhere. Among the liberties, Spalding allowed Muslim slaves to practice their religion openly, a rare opportunity, especially in the Christian South. Bilali not only practiced Islam, he was allowed to construct a small mosque on the plantation, which very well may have been the first mosque in North America. Bilali's name resonates across time and place. One of the most prominent of the Prophet Muhammad's companions in Arabia was Bilal, a black former slave. Bilal also was the first to make the call to prayer for the earliest Muslim community in Medina. I'm here with Tom Laporte, curator and lead on documents for the After Malcolm Digital Archive. Tom, tell us about your first experience with this document.
Well, I first saw a very nice facsimile of the Bilali document in the Brandon collection when I was out in Houston, Texas, interviewing Wali Akbar Muhammad. And Wali Akbar informed me that the 13-page manuscript was held at the Hargett Rare Book and Manuscript Library at the University of Georgia in Athens, my own home state. And so it was at that point that in the conversation that I decided I needed to try and check out the possibilities of displaying this historic and fantastic piece as the cornerstone of our After Malcolm portion of the Hearsay exhibit at the Zuckerman Museum of Fine Arts.
Now, as I understand it, when Bilali was brought to North America as a slave, it's highly unlikely that he brought any personal belongings with him.
That's correct.
Therefore, the prevailing theory is that Bilali wrote his Rasala from memory based on what he learned in West Africa. The Arabic word Rasala means a letter or simply a communication in writing.
All bits of scholarship point to that exact same thing.
Many unanswered questions about the Bilali document remain, such as how did it come to be in Bilali's possession and why did he bequeath it to Francis Robert Goulding? However, the document itself allows for unquestioned recording of early practices of authentic Islam. Both Bilali's Rasala and his story attest to the early Muslim presence and practices in North America. Tom, can you tell us about some other resources people could seek out if they're wanting to learn more about the Bilali document and early Muslims in America?
One of the best sources for information about Bilali himself and the document is America's Islamic Heritage Museum in Washington, D.C. Amir Muhammad's up there. He's curated a fantastic amount of information, and often he's on campus and can really give you a terrific amount of insight on the piece. He's toured the Sapelo Island on a number of occasions and met with family members, descendants of Bilali, so that's fantastic. Here included, you can see there's a short clip to the museum. There's a link to the museum and then a short clip of an interview with Amir Muhammad. Also, there have been a number of books about it, and some are coming out of late. There's a good one from Edward Curtis that you see listed in future reading. And then here's another really nice little link to some information that recognizes Bilali Muhammad as the first Islamic scholar in the United States.
Well, that sounds like there are a lot of good resources, and I hope that all of you will continue to learn about this fascinating topic of the Bilali document, as well as the history of those early Muslims in America.